G'day guys, welcome to Wharfie Wednesdays, the inaugural episode. My name is Zac, alongside me is Jordan, a regular fan cams enthusiast, now co-host. How are you, my friend?
Very good, very pumped to be here. Very pumped out of a new season and this new show. You're also a bit of a fan cams enthusiast yourself, dare I say? I've seen you.
Mate,
See, anyone that's tuned into the fan cams, you would have seen both of us at some point, I'm sure, throughout
We're on
last
the
season.
Mount Rushmore fan cams. Both our heads are etched into it. But no, it is a pleasure to be here. I think we should start off by thanking Noah and Druzy for the opportunity. Very privileged to be on the channel and engaging with the fans and providing some content of our own. I guess we could start off today's episode actually by this, before we talk anything Dockers, Dennis Cometti, one of the probably, if not the greatest commentator of Australian rules football, maybe even sport in Australia. That could be a bit biased, but he's right up there. He was a voice of my childhood, really, mate. AFL games, everything. I don't know how to describe him. Absolute champion. Anything you remember of Dennis Cometti in particular, mate?
Yeah, it's crazy. I actually remember when I was young. Actually, I'd watch footy games or people or whatever. If I was watching, I'd be like, player pass this play. I'd basically commentate if I was watching games. People would say, next Dennis Cometti over here. So and people still say that. Like when people think of a footy commentator, even though he hasn't been but his last game was 2016. He's the first name that people think of, isn't it?
Yeah. He's a champion of commentary, mate. I think he left a long-lasting legacy in the commentary game. I'm not sure anyone will reach his heights again, but no, he's a stalwart, and may he rest in peace. Sad to see him go, but I guess that's life for you, mate. People are probably wondering who are these two blokes and what they plan on talking about each week, mate. So I think obviously as our show's on a Wednesday, and Noah and Druzy astutely cover the games the day or days after in their podcast. I think here you'll find a more upcoming view on the opponent we're coming up against, a bit of analysis in the matchups. I think we're going to maybe build a predicted team every week too and try to get some of you guys' inputs into predicting a team. But anything else I'm missing there, Geordie?
Yeah, as you said, sort of we'll look through changes and everything, and probably not get too carried away with the change. I think that's the best thing about having a show on Wednesday, We talk about once you get into the fan cams, if we've lost or if we've won, we're either winning the flag or we're winning the spoon. That's there's the only two options when it comes to the fan cams. But Wednesday we're a bit more cool, calm, collected about it. So we'll talk about changes. We'll look about what people have said about us throughout the week. All the radio networks, all the TV shows. There's probably too many footy TV shows and radio shows nowadays. But
he's a new one too.
Here's another one. Yeah, throw this one in there as well. But we're going to look at all of them, what they're saying about us, whether they're bang on. And as I said, we're going to get the fans involved. That's the most important thing. Plenty of polls, plenty of stuff. We're going to get hopefully at some point get some of the fans on the show as well for their views on it. And it's going to be, just as I said, very fan orientated, like sort of the whole channel is. But that's basically what the show is every Wednesday, 6 p.m. most days. It might not be every day, but 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. Tune into Wharfie Wednesdays.
Yeah, I think one more thing we actually are bringing in, which Noah and Jeezy are on board with, I should say, as well, as the Kepler-Bradley medal, which will basically be
Is that the confirmed name yet, or have we locked that in?
He can give the tick of approval, but I think we're going to go with the Kepler-Bradley medal, which is going to be the best and fairest. I think me and you are going to have a set of votes, Noah and Druzy, and we're also going to have a link in the chat every week for the fans to be able to vote. So it'll be basically 3 sets of votes, and at the end of the year we'll award the Kepler-Bradley medal, prize to be confirmed. I can't guarantee one. But anyway, let's get into it, mate. Speaking of Kepler-Bradley, I believe there's something that's happened recently across the club's social media network, which you wanted to discuss.
Yeah, a little bit of off-season content from the socials network and socials at the club. And fair to say I'm a little bit disappointed with a few of them, for example. There's a few here that I'm a bit cult hero. I don't know, but they've run a cult hero competition. So they've grabbed, I believe, 16 players. We'll get that up now, actually. So they've grabbed 16 players, and they haven't got it exactly right. I think it's fair to say. So 16 players that they've considered as cult heroes, and there's a few names that I think fit this perfectly. Kepler-Bradley, as we've mentioned. Tendai is a very good one. Morabito is a very good one. I think guys like Roger Hayden and Scott Thornton fit the list pretty well. Pat Boss, he's made it to the final. I think that's fair enough. He's definitely fits the mold. maybe a little bit, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I mean, I think by the end of his career, he may not be a cult hero as well if he keeps kicking 40 goals a season. But when we talk about cult hero, we're sort of talking about someone that's, hasn't had that much success, but everyone knows them. They've had a good fan base. With that in mind, why am I seeing guys like Sean McManus, Jeff Farmer, Hayden Ballantyne in here? I think a bit disrespectful to those players. You think Sean McManus, he was the last inaugural Docker to be playing, 2008. And also after footy, he's probably had a more successful career after footy in radio than he has in footy itself. But then you've got Ballantyne, who's third on our all-time goal kickers list, and then Farmer, who's fourth. And obviously Farmer, had a long career at Melbourne before that too. And then you've also got Modra, who, at Freo, maybe fits the bond of cult hero at Freo, but as a footballer as well. If you asked any Adelaide fan, if you said that Modra was a cult hero to an Adelaide fan, I think they'd probably be more up in arms about it than I am right now about some of these decisions. But that's the club's doing. But then what's going on with the voting? That's the issue. That's the other thing.
Is there any names who aren't in the bracket who you think are snubs? Like, I can't believe Craig Muller's not in the voting, for example.
Craig Muller played one game for the club. I mean, obviously,
that's a cult hero for mine. And then he represented Australia in basketball.
I get one. I think there was another guy as well. Another player we had in the late 90s, Michael Clark, who went on to play cricket for WA. Not the cricketer Michael Clark you're probably thinking of. I think he might have been a fast bowler for WA, but he played one game for Freo and was a fast bowler for WA for quite some time. So a few players have gone on to do other stuff in sport. But I think, he's been a bit of a funny one to talk about, but does Will Brodie fit the mold of cult figure? I'd say he probably does. I mean,
there's been a more talked about player in the Dockers comment section for the past 5 years. So
yeah, I mean, you think he was best 22 for one season, but then he was talked about like he was a star for the next two. I think he definitely fits the mold of cult figure, if you ask me.
I think if you were just choosing from this bracket, who makes your final and who wins it?
I think I'd go Kepler. I think Kepler's definitely a good shout. He should have won over Tendai. I don't hate Tendai there as well. You think of stuff that Tendai did, obviously, crab catch at the Wacker at the Big Bash final. The hair that was, plenty of stuff he was known for as well. And now what's he doing now? He's development coach here as well. So obviously he's had an association with the club for a long time. So I don't mind Tendai as well. And then, but I think I would have given it to Morabito, to be perfectly honest. Morabito, because let's be real. I mean, us Freo fans still talk about Morabito. We thought he could have been anything.
I reckon I'd probably take Kepler versus. I know he was pretty good, Clive Waterhouse. He was decent, but I'd probably take those two in the final.
Yeah,
I'd probably going to decide it, but I was going to go Kepler. Kepler, I reckon, just.
The thing is, I even think that Clive might have been too good to be considered cult hero. Because Clive was decent footballer. He just happened to play in one of the worst teams I've ever seen, which was the late 90s, early 2000s Dockers side. Not exactly the team that you want to build a successful career from. So I think he kicked like 160, 170 goals in the end as well. So, and he was also, there was actually a best 25 since 95 thing that the club did a few years ago. And Clive was in that best 25.
I reckon he was voted in that for cult hero reasons though.
Yeah, I think. And the fact that, I suppose the fact that Johnny the Docker looks like Clive as well. But I've always thought Johnny the Docker looked more like Sean McManus, to be honest. That's who I always thought it was based off. I don't know.
All right,
maybe that's a debate for another day.
That's decent content from the Dockers, but geez, there are some interesting selections here. Jeez,
yeah.
Ballantyne cult hero. Come on, guys.
Ballantyne, yeah. We need to, come on, guys. But then it's also the fans. Why are we voting Ballantyne as a cult hero? Come on, guys. Got to be better.
Anyways, moving on. We've also would obviously fill in some news about our team from obviously Monday to Wednesday. It's not usually a heap of news, but regarding on the weekend, or I think it was yesterday, it was a little bit of a murmur going around that Hayden Young could have been injured. Apparently, it's all good. Expected to play round one.
A little bit of flashbacks to last year about that, wasn't it, as well? Because it was, I'm not even sure what the injury was. Was it ankle?
I think he might have rolled his ankle. But anything to do with Hayden Young getting injured, it's just PTSD. Also, I've seen that apparently Darcy and Ryan gotten through their waffle games completely fine, which is good. That interests me. We'll talk about it more next week if they get a game round one or not. Besides from that, obviously Cox didn't play. Pearce, Wachowski, and Warner are all out of the team on the weekend, but they're all tests, so they should be available for next week. But this time next week, we'll have more clarity about them. But that's just what's been going on the last couple of days from the Dockers' point of view. Now, the main part of the show today, we're going to do 3-word prediction about every player on the list. Now, it sounds like it might take 2 hours, but we've promised we've got something similar written down just to fire through it a bit. Anyone?
There's a few players that I've skipped as well. A few players that I've skipped, but you've decided to have a bit of take on because I think there's a few players that probably could all fall under the same 3 words that you used for one particular one player. So we'll get into that shortly.
Anyone in the chat who's got put the player's name in 3 words, we'll stop to vote them. We literally have got every place is in jumper number order, not alphabetical or anything. I'm sure you guys can pick that up along the way.
Is that the order it is? I didn't figure that. For some reason I couldn't figure that out.
I
was wondering why it was in like that order, to be honest. But
no, it's a jumper number order. But no, so you've got any of them yourself in the chat? 3 words. So it's some are easier than others, but we'll kick off with number 1, Sam Sturt. That's why he's number 1. I had written down makes successful comeback.
That's fair. I've unfortunately gone harsh call, mate, to be perfectly honest. I think it's going to be tough because he's obviously had 2 years, on the sidelines pretty much. But unfortunately, I think out of contract, I think he might unfortunately get delisted at the end of the year. But hopefully he can get back on park, play some good waffle footy and potentially get another year.
I think that'll all go down to his body more than his ability, I reckon. But fair enough. Here's the first polarizing one. All right, you go first on this. You read yours out first, and I'll go.
All right, I've got with Jagger O'Meara. So I've gone regular best 23. I think Origin player. Yes, WA's midfield stocks weren't exactly elite, but I think he's proved. I thought he was decent in Origin. I thought he was decent the other way against the Crows as well. Brings experience. I think he'll be a regular best 23. Now, with Fife gone as well, particularly, I think he'll probably be the player to replace him.
So I've gone with plays more Peel. Now, he's a solid player, but I just don't know where he plays. Like, I don't really rate him as a wingman, and you can't tell me he's now best play top 5 inside mids. That's not trying him off half back, and he could be just plays a utility, I guess. But, I don't know. It's a bit of a bold call that he plays more in Peel than the A team, which is probably wrong in hindsight, but I just don't know where he fits in the team, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good issue to have when you got too many good mids, but because I do like O'Meara, but I get what you're saying. Like, if Reed's going to play more midfield time, then he might get pushed out of there.
On the wing, I don't really rate him. I think he's I don't know. We'll see.
Wings are interesting.
Sorry?
I was saying the wing's a bit of an interesting position nowadays. So. Not every team has that sort of winger. So Sarah got finally breaks tag. Finally breaks tag like that. I've got something a little bit different. I've gone more scoring threat. I thought we saw that in Origin as well. I think he's obviously at the contest, at a clearance. There aren't too many players better in the comp, but I think you might see him chime in with a few more goals this year. I think he might occasionally drift away from contests. I think he might run away from stoppages as well. Essentially score a couple of goals on the fly. I think we'll see more of that from him this year.
Yeah. All right. Darcy, I've got serious pressure on.
I agree with you. I think Cox was good against the Crows, but I've gone still our ruck. I think he'll still be our number 1 ruck throughout the year, provided he stays fit.
Chapman has got reliable as ever. Not much else to be said, really.
Yeah, I've got similar. I've also gone reliable as ever. I just copied you on that one. I think we'll have similar season to last season, and he'll keep that spot where he is.
Clarkey, I actually went all Australian again, so holds form.
I've gone sort of in AA contention. I don't think I'm not prepared to say he will get all Australian, but I think he'll definitely be right in the mix if he doesn't get it.
Andrew Brayshaw becomes more damaging. So maybe it's similar to what you put for Sarong. I think Brayshaw maybe becomes more damaging on the outside, breaks more lines, hits the scoreboard more.
I've gone finally wins the Doig. I think he's gonna. Has he finished second? I'm not sure if he's finished second the last 3 years, but Strong's won the last 3. So I believe Brayshaw's might have finished second in all of them. But he did win it in 2022. Yeah, we won it in 22.
Yeah, he's going close heaps.
Yeah, I think he finally gets it this year. I think in terms of all-rounded mids in the comp, in terms of mids that don't really have a flaw to their game, Brayshaw's right up there. I think Butters is probably number 1, but I'll probably have Brayshaw right around the number 2 mark for mids that just do not have a flaw. I think he'll show that this year. I think he finally gets a Doig medal.
Luke Jackson. This is polarising. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go?
Yeah, you can
I'll
go
go
first.
first. I've got triple position player.
Triple position. So ruck, mid, forward. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I've gone still a forward. I like him as a forward. I still think that's his best position when he's not in the ruck. I still think forwards is his best position, like you saw. In terms of actually, he can snatch the ball out the ruck, snap a goal, he can tap it down to our smalls. He knows how to do that sort of stuff. I think. I don't like him roaming in the midfield, to be perfectly honest. Like I get why they're doing it, but I've seen most contests that we've seen him as a mid. I don't know. I still just like him better down forward, to be perfectly honest, than I do in the midfield. I know it's sort of we've got too many tools, but I just think he's better there.
Fair enough. All right, Shai Bolton, what have you got him?
I've just gone lower the eyes. It's really all he needs to do. And I thought he did that more against Adelaide, actually, compared to Origin. I thought he lowered the eyes and found targets more, but he really just needs to lower the eyes, not do it all himself, and he'll be very damaging, because he can be very damaging. We've seen it.
Yeah, I've got full-time forward, lower the eyes in the forward line, maybe.
Full-time
Probably
forward.
lower eyes in the forward line, but yeah, I reckon I like to see him play full-time forward. I reckon he could create. He's probably our most creative player, maybe alongside Murphy, but put one of them in the midfield, one of them in the forward line, split them up. Why not? But I think Bolton's probably maybe a better forward than Reid is. So yeah, full-time forward.
My issue with Bolton playing forward is I think most of his stupid decisions come when the goals are in front of him. Perfectly honest, I think when he's actually in the midfield, I think he's, he seems to be quite a smart player when he's in the middle. But if he gets his hands on the ball, he's taking a shot no matter where it's from in the forward line, and that has often not gone too well for us.
All right, Tobin Murray, I've got Make's early debut.
Yeah, similar. I've gone best of draftees. I think he'll play the most games of any player we drafted this year. I think he recruit those mature age players, and I think he'll get a game. I'm not overly sure who. I think maybe he overtakes Dudley as sort of the sixth small forward option. Maybe puts pressure on Frederick for his spot. But yeah, I think we'll definitely see Murray get a few games this year.
Yep. Hugh Davies, I got last chance saloon. Now, he was pretty good on the weekend, but he's been on the list for a few years now. You'd hope he'd be getting regular games by now, but he's a good depth option, I think. But how long can he carry depth options for on your list?
Yeah, I've gone Peel form enough. That's the thing. Like, you can't, unfortunately, keep players. Hugh Davies, 22. He's not at his peak, but unfortunately, you can't keep everyone around forever until they're going to hit their peak. So definitely does need to show a bit this year. So I've gone Peel form enough. I believe he was second in the Peel best and fairest from what I remember last season.
Yeah,
so definitely got good waffle form.
A lot of games there.
But yeah, needs to show that he can at least be the number one backup option, maybe overtake Oscar McDonald. Yeah,
that could be next direction, I guess. All right, Luke Ryan. I've got misses a game because I don't remember the last time he missed a game, but he seems to have had a very, very minimal preseason. Didn't get obviously played in the Wolf game that I just mentioned before on the weekend. If he missed the game through injury or form, I'm not prepared to predict that, but I think his consecutive game streak might come to an end.
I could see that could happen. I've just gone still the general. I think he'll still be the same Luke Ryan that we've always known. I don't know if his fitness is down. Maybe that's why he's not playing. But once that's back up, I think he'll still be the player we all know he is.
Yeah, Jeremy Sharp. I've got. This has already happened, but I wrote squeezed out team. I couldn't write all because that's 4 words, but yeah, squeezed out team.
I've gone. What did I say? Wingman going extinct. I think Jeremy Sharp's a bit of a victim to that. I think a lot of players aren't going with traditional wingmen nowadays. They're going with guys that's sort of secondary positions. A lot of guys are going for like tall player teams are going for like the taller wingman. Like I think we offered a contract to Jai Sarong to play on the wing, and he's 193, 194 centimeters. So sort of played the Dan Curtin role. So I think Jeremy Sharp's a bit of a victim of his position going a bit extinct, I think.
Next draftee, Adam Swade. I just got lights up Peel.
Lights up Peel. I've gone good project player. I don't think we'll see him get much game time this year, but I think after Murphy Reid, everyone's sort of expecting our first round picks to just hit the ground running straight away. Fortunately, it's not always like that, but I think we'll see good development from him this year, and that's all we really need.
Speaking of Murphy Reid, I've got 15 Brownlow votes.
Oh yeah, I've gone locks in midfield. I think he won't be a full-time mid, but I think he's going to play predominantly midfield this year. And he's already getting comparisons to, as we saw the other day, Gary Ablett Jr. and Scott Pendlebury. I can't remember who that was. But, no pressure.
Judd McVie, I've got opposition forwards nightmare. I thought he might have a bit more freedom to roam when he came over to us, but of what I've seen so far, it seems to have been playing more of a lockdown role, which he's good at. But I thought one of the reasons he wanted to leave Melbourne was he wanted to play up the ground more, which is interesting. But of what I've seen so far, I think he's going to keep being locked down. So yeah, opposition forwards nightmare.
That was my thought as well. I thought, he was going to play half-back. I thought it was going to be the duo with
I think he might
Clark
snake up
that
the
we were
wing,
looking for.
maybe.
Maybe the wing, yeah. Maybe he's playing a bit of a hybrid role, maybe a bit of utility across sort of the wing there, across from the midfield to the back line. But I've gone late season form. I think not every player fits into the system straight away, but I think back after the season, I think we will see the Judd McVie that we thought that we knew we were getting from when we signed him across this year.
Mason Cox, more than serviceable.
I've gone still just depth. I think I don't think he'll ever be considered best 23, but I think he'll be good depth, as we said. Good depth, good for Sun Smart advice. If you saw that article yesterday, it's good. Just a bit off topic. We're sort of getting the treatment that only Eagles players got once with like the Harley Reid went shopping, whatever it is. But Mason Cox putting sunscreen on, that was a full article in the West the other day. So. It's good to see. It's good to see that.
Waiting stuff. Another draftee, Leon Kickett. Again, I've recycled lights up Peel. I think he's got an X factor, but I doubt he gets a game this year. Skinny frame, needs a couple of years, but I just had the lights up Peel as well.
Yeah. I haven't written anything on Leon Kickett. I think there's a few players I've got on Leon Kickett, Toby One, Ryder Luke, Jared Carr. I haven't really written anything on those players. I don't think they're going to be really in the frame. But,
Paddy Voss. I don't know what to put. I put takes next step, and that might be. I don't even know what I mean by that, to be honest. I just think he holds his form. Maybe he's a bit more consistent. I just think he'll just furnish into a better play again. Not much else to add, really.
I've got another 40 goals. I think. I actually think he only kicked about 34, 35, but that's because missed a couple of games due to suspension due to that. Clothesline hit on I can't remember who it was. Might have been on McIntosh.
Something like Mansell or something like that. No, it was a Richmond player.
But too many unknown players at the moment. But I think as long as he doesn't do anything stupid like that, no poking anyone in the eye, he'll have a good season and kick 40 goals again.
Oscar McDonald, I got a good depth option. He might even be playing next week.
Potentially, we don't know what's going on with Pearson. Cox. I've got one more extension. I think he's sort of been on rolling 1-year contracts for a while. I think we'll get another one at some point throughout the season. I think he'll still be seen as our best backup option to Pearson Cox. And as I said, more than serviceable.
Charlie Nichols, I got make or break. I do preface, I went to one training session. Shout out, Noah, he's in the chat too. I went to one training session. I think it might have been the greatest training of his life, Charlie Nichols. I'm getting really excited, but obviously nowhere to be seen in any of the match sims. But make or break. I think he turning 20? So he's still got some years ahead of him. But again, I don't know how many of these players you can carry on a list without making a debut for 3 years plus. But I think he's got some talent. But I thought make or break.
Well, I think it's his second season, so
is it? Yeah,
it's only second season. Typically, you give a bit more leeway to the tall guys and to the key position players. Yeah. But he does obviously need to show a bit of form to get a contract extension. I could swing back because I thought I'd heard somewhere that he was apparently swinging back occasionally for Peel. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking like Amos, Tracy, Voss all made debuts very, very early. So maybe my standards are too high on key forwards, but you could be right. Yeah. Maybe make or break's a bit harsh, but hopefully put some pressure on maybe in the squad this year. Who knows? Kyle Warner, I've got next Luke Ryan. I think he's going to basically mould into what Luke Ryan was in his prime. Not saying he takes his spot in the team, but I've got high hopes for him, which I'll admit, this time last year I probably would have been saying Peel fund the stalwart or something, but seriously good season for him. A breakout season for him last year. I think he continues on that trajectory this year.
I've gone can't find spot, unfortunately. I just don't quite see a spot for him in the best 23 this season. As you said, if there is a player who's going to... I don't think he can take the spot of McVie or of Chapman or of Clark. Ryan, I get what you're saying. I think he doesn't quite have the frame to be Luke Ryan, and I don't think he's quite has the sort of ball use that Luke Ryan does. A lot of people criticise Luke Ryan's ball use, but I don't think Carl Warner's quite there yet. I think he probably does need to bulk up a bit too to sort of match Luke Ryan. But I think in terms of best 23, it's harsh because I thought he was very good last season, but I don't think it'll be quite be a spot for him, unfortunately.
Interesting. Jai Amos, I wrote Deadeye is back. Seems to be full of confidence after I do preface pre-season games, but confidence is confidence. Looks good. Looked stronger and quicker. I don't know how you do both at the same time, but he did, and he wasn't missing simple shots in the pre-season. So hopefully those mental demons are gone, and he can go back to converting how he did, and he could be on for a 40-plus goal season. But yeah, Deadeye is back.
Yeah, I've gone reliable 30 again. I think he'll kick another 30-plus goals this year. As I said, far from the number one target in the forward line, so to kick another 30 goals is pretty good. I think he'll sort of stay as that player. A lot of people have said he needs to bulk up and all that sort of stuff. I don't think he will. I think he'll sort of stay as the sort of guy that maybe can push up the ground a bit, and can still bang in 30 goals. So I think it'll
he's
be
a bit taller than him, but maybe he can mold into sort of like a Jack Gunston type.
Yeah, 196 centimeters, I think he is. So
it's a big call comparing to Jack Gunston, but that sort of player, maybe.
I said, I think that's a decent comparison. Sort of, medium forward. I think if he's a bit skinny, he probably can sort of play that sort of role. So I could definitely see that.
Alex Pearce. Now this is a massive call considering his injury history, but I literally put down all Australian squad.
Oh, we'd love to see it. Is he? I mean, was he? I think he's 30. So 30. You've seen a lot of key defenders, a lot of key position players go into their prime when they're 30. So I don't mind that. I've just gone just stay fit. That's all we need.
Yeah.
Really.
That's right into my prediction. If your prediction's wrong, then so is mine.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, Hayden Young. Another big call. You go first.
I've gone the ultimate utility. I think he could almost become a 3-position player. I think he'll play a lot of midfield time.
He's going to play the ruck, is he?
He's going to play in the ruck as well. Why not? No, I think he could also play halfback again. I think he might move back there. You know, particularly if Murphy or Shea Bolton plays midfield. Potentially even half forward. I think he'll be considered utility at some point throughout the season. And I think Young's another one. I could have easily just stay fit for Young as well, if we're being perfectly honest. But that's all we really need from him, stay fit.
I've gone top 10 Brownlow.
Yeah, so that's another one as well. If he doesn't stay fit, that's not happening. But I don't think there's
I've labelled Alex Pearce All Australian squad and Hayden Young top 10 Brownlow, 2 most injury-prone players probably. So yeah, touch wood. Toby One, I've got knocks on door. I think he's got something as a wingman. Probably doesn't play this year, but I think he's got some talent. Neil Erasmus, speaking of the wing, I've got locks down wing.
Locks down wing, okay. I've gone sadly stays fringe. I think he's just going to get pushed out. I think with Murphy moving into the midfield, as we said, and potentially Shea, you might see guys like, I think you'll see a guy like Jager go to the midfield, and I think, Jager go to the wing. I think Wagner gets the other wing spot. I think Erasmus stays fringe. I think he might be on the bench a lot. I think he will definitely get a lot of games. I don't think he'll lock down a position, though, this year. I think he will stay as a fringe player.
Cooper Simpson, I've got hopefully plays games.
I've actually gone another development year. I think he will play games. I think he will play, he might get 3 or 4 games depending on maybe opponent or whatever. But I think it'll be another development year. We've got him contracted till 27. So I think, get another year of waffle footy into him and potentially look for a 2027 locking down a role then. So I think, it'll be another development year. Cooper Simpson, project player.
Nathan O'Driscoll, I've got struggles to play. That means not play like anywhere, but play in the A team. I think he's back down the pill for most of the season, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think I've gone O'Driscoll on may seek move. I believe he's out of contract at the end of the season. I think he actually had a more lucrative offer from Port a couple of seasons ago, but he chose to stay with the Dockers instead of going to Josh Carr's Port Adelaide. But I think he may seek move. I think there is probably a few clubs that could use a player like O'Driscoll, a player that's play wing, bit of forward. I could see that happening.
Was Josh Carr the coach when O'Driscoll had that brilliant season on the wing?
What year would have that been?
22 or 23?
22. Carr was the midfield coach at that point. I think he left at the end of that season.
Brownlow contingent season.
That was the thing.
Yeah, interesting. That's a good shout. Brandon Walker, I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. Didn't change this one. I probably should because he's not anymore. But I put the forgotten man. That game against West Coast a couple of weeks ago. If he played like that every week, he'd be in the best 23 without doubt. Bit quieter last week, but I still think he probably plays next week and gets him an opportunity. I mean, the fact Cooper Simpson's injured, for example, probably helps his cause to get a game. But yeah, forgotten man. I think how many games did he play last year? Did he play
10 maybe?
Really? Brendan Walker played 10 games last year.
Well, yeah, I think it was just about halfway through the season. It might have been the Collingwood game. Might have been his final game. No, I think the Collingwood game, actually, whichever round that was, it might have been round 9. I distinctly remember Bobby Hill just completely terrorising us, and which is what happens. We didn't have that lockdown defender, which is why I've wrote Horses for Courses, classic JL saying. Played a game and a half.
Injured round 2.
That can't be right, can it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
That's when he played way more than that.
No, I'm pretty sure last year he was, because I think he hurt. Let me double check this.
Good Mandela effect here or something.
He finally got fit toward the end of the season and didn't get picked. He played 2 games last year. Yep, 2 games.
Could have sworn he played more than that. I've gone Horses for Courses. I think if there's a game where a team's got a lot of good smalls, I think there might be a game where you throw Walker in there. Yep. So he'll definitely get more than 2 games this season, I think. But yeah, I think he won't be best 23. I don't think. I don't think he'll be consistent game time. But yeah, I think he'll be. Just against the Swans, that's crazy because I could have sworn I'd seen him play more than that. To be honest.
Michael Frederick, I have again pressure on spot.
Yeah, I've gone similar. I've gone.
Which is probably one of the most positive things you've heard fans say about him in the off season.
Yeah,
he cops it. I think he's a best 23 player, but I think there's actually might be some pressure on his spot, like Tobin Murray, etc.
Yeah, the hate against Frederick's probably gotten a bit ridiculous. I think, to be perfectly honest, from some corners of the fan base. But yeah, I think he will definitely have pressure on his spot this year. Tobin Murray being one of those players. I think he holds it off though. To be perfectly honest, 30 plus goals. He's nowhere near the number 1 target when we head forward, and he sort of roams around the contest as well. So, kick 30 goals and he doesn't get much of the ball. So, I think he will hold off that pressure. And we gave him a 3-year contract extension. You don't just hand those out either. So, I think it's probably proof that someone else was chasing Michael Frederick. So he's obviously we're not the only club that rates him. That's for sure.
Ollie Murphy again, make or break.
Yeah, Ollie Murphy, I think, he as out of contract, he definitely needs to show something for sure.
Corey Wagner, I have reliable as ever, same as Chapman. Does his job week in, week out.
I've gone best wing option, I think. I believe he was top 3 in the time trials alongside Frederick and Juan, I think. So, just probably got the Frederick points. Another reason why Frederick's in the team, he can run out of game pretty easily. But Wagner, I think he'll be on the wing this season. I think he'll. I actually think Wagner could have a career best season. To be perfectly honest, I think it'll be the first season where we know he's the best 23 player from the start of the season, and I think he'll hold that spot throughout the season.
Josh Tracy, what do you got for him?
Top 5 Coleman. I presume you got something.
Top 5 Coleman.
There you go. Yeah.
How could you not say that after? I think maybe winning the Coleman's the appropriate thing to write after the last 2 weeks, Tracy. But geez, he looks.
Last week was crazy.
Quicker. There's not many good matchups for him. Like, obviously, you got your Sam Taylors and your Harris Andrews who'd probably put up a good fight against him, but there's not many teams.
He was 13th last season, so 44. So top. He had 44 last season. Top 5 he would have needed 60 to rate the top 5. So
I can see him getting 60, but maybe we might have too much of a share of goals.
Yeah, that could be. I could see that being a big issue, to be perfectly honest. Yeah, I think no team has had a 4 dynamic like us last season, where Frederick was our 4th top goal kicker and he kicked 30. Yeah. So I think I could see that happening, to be honest.
I was going to write career best year, but it's too boring, so I went top 5 Coleman. But now I think about it, could be too much of a spread. Brennan Cox, I couldn't think of much to write, so the 2 words I've gone with plus consistent is bald-headed consistent.
I've gone baldness gives powers. I also couldn't think of what to write, to be honest. Well, I think he'll have another reliable year. I think maybe he might get a few more big matchups than Pierce does, maybe. We might see that switch around a bit. But I think it'll be another similar year for Brennan Cox.
Josh Draper, could be harsh, maybe not. I've wrote needs to lift.
Yeah, I've got needs to prove, so pretty much the same thing.
He's shown spurts, but his consistency's terrible, if I'm putting it lightly.
Well, he was in the team at the start of the season last year, and then he was dropped, and then he wasn't even the best, and then he wasn't considered the best option for when Pearce got injured. So definitely fell a fair bit down the pecking order throughout the season. I think, he definitely needs to lift.
Jaron Carr, Peel Fund stalwart, and I've said Sam Switkowski. I have injury-free, please, which I think you've used earlier, and I've used it again here.
I've gone sign right here. He's pretty much the only player, the only player that we're got to get him locked in. There's a few that we'd love to get locked in. We're not going to be able to keep all of them. Switter's the one that we've got to keep locked in for another few seasons. Holds our forward line together. We saw in the final against the Suns. What happens when he's not there? So I think, which sign right here. We've got to make sure we get him extended. He is out of contract at the end of the season.
Ryder Luke grinds the gym. Bailey Banfield, I wrote, where's he fit? Now, he was very good off half back on the weekend, but now I don't really want to be a Banner slanderer because that's the textbook thing to do, but I can't see a premiership team having him at half back in their team, if I'm brutally honest. He could be a perfect bench player. He was a perfect sub for a reason, utility, but can he fit him in the side? I don't know.
Yeah, I've gone hopefully not needed. I think if he plays a game, there's obviously injuries elsewhere. Very flexible. I think he does. He doesn't do a horrible job when he comes in, but he's definitely not a best 23 player, and hopefully won't be needed. But it's not slander Banners as a player, but he's definitely not in the best 23.
Aiden Riddle, I just said gets Peel chance. Now Reedy's gone. Or maybe Cox. Yeah. I think he's a bit of a Peel Fund reserve stalwart, but he'll get his Peel League chance, so to see what he's made of. Good pre-season from a few reports. Speaking of pre-season, Isaiah Dudley, I wrote full pre-season, which obviously didn't have last year.
Yeah, I've gone runs out longer. It was a real thing that let him down. He was never really going to have a fully full 23 game season with the pre-season he had. He was probably carrying
massively from when he was signed.
Yeah, that's right.
If you told me that's what he was going to do when we signed him, I would have probably asked you to put the drink down. But
I remember talking to a few people and saying he's just making up the numbers this year. We've got a list spot to fill. Let's throw Cosy Pickett's cousin in there. Why not? But
a few people
in the end,
ran that to me too. You only signing because Cosy Pickett's cousin, but
no, but he was decent in glimpses last season. And I think he'll run out games more because if he does get a chance, I don't think that'll be in round one. But if he does get a chance, I think definitely see him on the field a lot more, less on the bench. And it's just up to him to do what we know he can do consistently.
And finally, we got there Matt Johnson. I've gone foot skills, please.
I think Johnson. I've gone most pressured player. I actually think Johnson's probably the most under pressure player at the club. In terms of the out of contract players, I think he was best 23 for a lot of last season. A lot of people probably don't have him as in the best 23 to start this season. Being out of contract,
he's in like the 22nd, the 25th best player logjam.
Yeah, they said right on the fringe. He's definitely needs to. We saw with Erasmus last season. I would have said Erasmus was probably the most under pressure player last season.
You think Erasmus has jumped him in the pecking order?
I think he has, to be perfectly honest. I think from what we saw, I think Erasmus is probably better by foot than Johnson is.
He's a big
they
body.
Both can sort of play the bigger body mid role, can't they? But the fact that we've sort of been training Jackson to be a mid tells me we don't rate those guys as a bigger body mid. So I don't know. I think Johnson definitely needs to prove something to get a new deal.
All right, that's all the players done. We got there. So before we wrap up, as I mentioned at the start, we'll be talking a lot about our upcoming game, etc. Obviously, round one, we've got Geelong next Saturday, is it? Saturday, yeah, Saturday after.
Yeah, next Saturday down at the Cattery again, 2 years in a row. But
stiff.
I don't hate that, to be honest. We get to hopefully make amends for last year.
There's a couple of things I wanted to make note to watch out for Geelong this weekend against they're playing the Suns Friday night.
Yep.
I'm interested to see who rucks for them. That's obviously the unknown. Sam de Koning, what's his name? Mitch Edwards. Who knows? That's interesting to see who they go with.
He's going to play.
Blitzarves, of course. Yeah. Osen Mullen usually tags. I guess it's interesting to see if he tags on Friday night, and if so, I guess we'll be talking about next week who he's going to tag for us. But we keep an eye on if he has a role tagging. They had a few players under injury clouds. I think they had Jeremy Cameron, Myers, Bailey Smith, and Dangerfield. They're all listed as tests for this week. So If they don't play
Very
this
important
week,
close.
yeah, if they don't play this week, I'd be assuming they'll be playing next week. So they're fairly full strength, I believe, Geelong, which I guess to be the best, you're going to beat the best. So we'll talk about this more next week, obviously, but just a couple of things to look out for.
Yeah, as I said with the Cats, it's just every year we think they're going to fall off. It never happens, unfortunately. But yeah, Jezza, Danger, like are those guys going to finally start slowing down? Probably not. As you said, it was talked about Mullen there. Should see what James Warple does as well. That's probably my biggest watch because, you know, a lot of people thought he was going to be one of the that he could be, one of the Hawks' top midfielders. He's left the Hawks, gone to the Cats to sort of be sort of the third mid alongside Smith and Holmes. And will he be that? We'll have to see because, right, I'd say like just really, you'd probably take our midfield over theirs, but if Warple hasn't. Warple's probably like it depends on Warple. Yeah, like Warple, I think if Warple's ends up becoming a star, you take that midfield. But if he doesn't, you take ours. So I think he's going to be very important for Geelong.
It'll be interesting to see how they line up, how they play. Obviously, I actually think I prefer them to win, to be honest, on Friday night, so they're under less pressure. Thinking about it, I think I prefer them to win. Do I think they'll win? I don't think they will. But I'd rather them if they got smashed, it's probably a disaster.
Yeah, I think. I mean, Geelong going 0-2 would be a big storyline if it did happen. But yeah, Suns are definitely my tip. But I don't think it's clear as people are saying. I think it's probably about a 50-50 game on Friday night.
I agree, mate. Anything else to add, or is that all we've got for tonight?
I think probably one more thing we need to add potentially is the name of the medal. We've got to figure this one out. So Kepler Bradley. Maybe give us a few. Maybe those in the chat can give us a few comments. Are we happy with Kepler Bradley medal? Do we want the Morabito medal? Are we going to go the Moller medal? Does it have to start with an M? Because now that I've mentioned,
I think Morabito medal just makes me too sad.
What was it, sir?
I think the Morabito medal makes me too sad. Like constantly being reminded of Morabito. No,
I don't know. The Dawson medal is the Dawson medal can go to the best defender potentially. Yeah, the golden fist, as they say. But
here we go.
The Moller medal.
It does, the Moller medal.
Moller medal, the Moller medal.
As I just said.
It really does roll off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, we'll come back with you next week. We'll have decided and we'll let you know. But that was good, mate. It was a pleasure. Again, thanks to you, Kat, Noah, and Druzy. Much appreciated.
You, Kat, Noah, and Druzy.
Yeah.
You, Kat, Noah, and Druzy. Two of those the same
person. Continue to get better as we go, but no, it was good to get on here. Good to chat. Do our predictions. I think next week, obviously, I said we'll talk about Geelong more in depth. Maybe give a few more predictions on the season as a whole. Besides, not going into players, but maybe more team-specific predictions. Besides that, mate, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely, and look forward to plenty more Wharfie Wednesdays to come throughout the season, and just looking forward to footy being back, isn't it? I mean, as a Perth Glory supporter, I'm quite sick of this off season. So I'm just keen for footy to get back and keen for hopefully another good Dockers season.
No worries, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. We'll see you same time and place next week. Bye for now.
Bye.